There are probably 3 or 4 of these already sitting in your kitchen right now. And most people who try them give up within a week and say they do not work. But the herb is not the problem. The method is. I have spent years learning how to use 10 specific plants that older generations kept close, not in expensive capsules, not in complicated protocols, just on a shelf, in a jar, drying in a window, or steeping in a cup. Before you spend another dollar on a supplement you cannot pronounce, I want to show you what your grandmother already knew. Some of this is going to surprise you. There are small daily discomforts that pile up so gradually that you stop noticing them. Feeling tired by early afternoon, even when you slept, your stomach sitting heavy after meals, skin that feels dry and dull no matter what you put on it, restless evenings when your body is exhausted but your mind keeps going, a scratchy throat at the first sign of cold weather, hands and feet that never quite warm up. These are not dramatic problems. They are the quiet, ordinary complaints that make daily life feel just a little bit harder than it should. And for most of human history, people had very simple responses to almost all of them, not because they were exceptional, because they paid attention to what was growing around them. I grew up seeing herbs in jars, and I did not understand what they were for. It took me years to actually learn how to use them properly, and what I got wrong for a long time, I am going to share with you today. The first one is chamomile. And I want to start here because almost everyone has it, and almost everyone uses it incorrectly. You steep a tea bag for 90 seconds, drink something pale and faintly floral, feel nothing, and decide it does not work. I did this for years. The mistake is the steeping time. Chamomile needs at least 8 to 10 minutes in hot water, and the cup must be covered while it steeps. Those aromatic compounds that make chamomile soothing will just float away in the steam if you leave the cup open. If you are using loose dried flowers, use a full tablespoon. The tea should look golden and smell gently sweet, almost like honey. That is when you know it has actually steeped long enough. Chamomile has long been used to support calming evenings, settle digestive discomfort after meals, and help ease that tension when your body is tired, but your mind is still running. I reach for it on the evenings when the house finally goes quiet and I still cannot seem to slow down. There is also a topical use for chamomile that almost nobody mentions, but I want to come back to that later. The next one is ginger, and I want you to look at your spice rack right now, because if you have a jar of dried powdered ginger that has been sitting there for a year, it is doing almost nothing. Ginger oxidizes. It loses its character quickly once it is ground and stored. If you want to actually feel what ginger can do, you need the fresh root. Slice it thin, simmer it in water for 10 or 15 minutes, and drink it warm. That gentle heat you feel on your tongue, that slight sharpness in your throat, that is how you know the ginger is alive. Fresh ginger has long been used to support digestion, warm the body from the inside, and help with nausea and the heavy feeling that comes after a big meal. It is also one of the things older people in cold climates reached for when their hands and feet refused to warm up at night. The method that makes the biggest difference is the simmering time. Do not just steep it like a regular tea. Let it actually cook a little. If you are on blood thinners, keep your amounts reasonable and check with your doctor before using it regularly in larger quantities. Peppermint is on this list, but I want to be clear about something right away. The mistake I see most often is people assuming that because peppermint tea helps with bloating, peppermint is good for all digestive issues. It is not. If you deal with acid reflux or heartburn, peppermint can actually make it worse. It relaxes a certain muscle in the digestive tract in a way that can let stomach acid move upward. So peppermint is wonderful for gas and bloating and that tight, uncomfortable feeling after eating. It is not the right choice if burning and reflux are your problem. For head tension and sinus congestion, peppermint works in a completely different way. Crush a few dried leaves between your fingers and inhale. Or make a strong cup of tea and let the steam drift up toward your face. The cool tingle is almost immediate. And please, if you have small children, keep peppermint essential oil far away from their faces. That is a real caution, not just a formality. Save this video because you are going to want to come back to this list. We are getting into the herbs that people have heard of but do not actually know how to use. Lavender is one of them. Most people think of lavender as a scent for candles or bath products. And then they wonder why those products do not actually help them sleep. Synthetic lavender fragrance and real dried lavender are not the same thing. If you want lavender to support restful evenings, try a small sachet of dried lavender flowers near your pillow, or dilute a couple of drops of genuine lavender essential oil in a carrier oil, something like almond or sunflower oil, and rub a small amount into your wrists or temples before bed. My grandmother kept a little cloth bundle under her pillow. I thought it was just a nice touch. I did not realize for years that it was practical. Lavender has long been associated with calming the nervous system and supporting sleep quality. The key word there is dilute. Essential oils go on skin only when mixed with a carrier oil, never directly. Elderberry is probably the most misunderstood herb on this list. People buy elderberry syrup at the pharmacy thinking it will stop a cold that is already fully established, take it for a few days, feel no difference, and give it up. But here is how older generations used elderberry. At the very first sign of something, the first scratchy throat, the first heavy tiredness, the morning when something just felt off, they would start the syrup. Used at the onset, not after 5 days of full illness. And the commercial versions are often so loaded with sugar that the elderberry itself becomes secondary. If you make your own syrup at home, the ratio matters. Roughly 1 part dried berries to 4 parts water, simmered slowly for 45 minutes, strained, and then mixed with a good amount of raw honey once it cools. Do not add the honey while the liquid is hot. You want to preserve what the honey brings to it. Raw berries should never be eaten. They must be cooked. And if you are on immunosuppressant medication, check before using elderberry regularly. Turmeric is the one where I feel almost embarrassed about how long I used it wrong. I was stirring turmeric powder into water, just water, and expecting to feel something. Turmeric on its own, without fat and without black pepper, is barely absorbed by the body. This is not new information. Traditional preparations from Ayurvedic practice, which has used turmeric for centuries, almost always combined it with fat and warming spices. Warm milk or broth, a small amount of butter or coconut oil, and a pinch of black pepper. That combination changes what your body can actually do with it. The compound in black pepper that helps this is called piperine, but all you need to remember is this: no fat, no pepper, no point. Golden milk, made the right way, has a deep, earthy warmth that is genuinely comforting in the evening. Just keep your amounts reasonable. High amounts of turmeric can be irritating for some people and may interact with blood thinners. Lemon balm is one I wish people knew better. It is gentle. It grows easily in pots on a windowsill, and it smells extraordinary, lemon and green and slightly herbal all at once. Fresh leaves crushed between your fingers is one of those small sensory pleasures that immediately slows you down. Lemon balm has traditionally been used for anxious, restless feelings and for settling the stomach when stress is the underlying cause of the discomfort. A tea made from fresh or dried leaves steeped for 10 minutes with the cup covered is one of the quietest and most genuinely pleasant remedies on this whole list. If you are on thyroid medication or take sedatives, check before using it regularly. But for most people, this is simply a kind and useful plant that is very easy to grow and very easy to use. Echinacea works on a timing principle that most people completely ignore. It is most traditionally used at the beginning of feeling under the weather, not as a daily supplement taken indefinitely. Long-term continuous use was not how older herbal traditions approached it. Short courses at the first sign that your body is working harder than usual. If you are buying a tincture, the quality test is surprisingly straightforward. Put a drop or two on the tip of your tongue. You should feel a distinct tingle, almost a slight numbing sensation. No tingle means the tincture is weak or old and you are wasting your money. If you have an autoimmune condition, check with your doctor before using echinacea. I want to pause here for a moment because I think it matters. None of these herbs replace medical care. They are part of a daily wellness routine, the kind of quiet, practical support that older generations understood as ordinary household knowledge. They knew which plants were for cooking, which went into teas, and which needed to be treated with some caution. They were not reckless, and neither should we be. If you are pregnant, nursing, on prescription medication, or managing a serious health condition, please check before adding something new. That is not a disclaimer. That is just how plant medicine works. It is still medicine. Calendula is probably the most visually beautiful herb in this list, and also one of the most underused. Those vivid orange petals are not just decorative. Older herbalists kept them drying in kitchen windows because they belong in oils, balms, and the small jars kept beside the bathroom sink. The simplest way to use calendula at home is to make an infused oil. Fill a clean jar with dried petals, cover them completely with olive oil or sunflower oil, seal it, and leave it somewhere with indirect light for 4 to 6 weeks. The oil will slowly take on a rich golden color and a faint floral warmth. Strain it into a clean jar, and you have something genuinely useful for dry, tired, or irritated skin. I feel a little like a kitchen witch every time I make this. Honestly, that is half the joy of it. Then there is thyme. I saved this one for last because I think it is the biggest surprise on the list, and I wanted you to still be watching when I got here. You have almost certainly used thyme your whole life. On chicken, on roasted vegetables, on anything going into the oven, and that is exactly where most people's relationship with thyme ends. But thyme has a long tradition as a remedy for sore throats, tight chests, and the kind of cough that settles in during cold season. A strong thyme tea made from a good tablespoon of fresh or dried thyme steeped in hot water for 10 minutes with the lid on has been used for generations for exactly that kind of discomfort. Even better is thyme honey. Take a clean jar, fill it with fresh thyme sprigs, pour raw honey over them until they are completely covered, seal the jar, and leave it for 2 to 3 weeks. The honey slowly pulls something from the thyme and becomes darker, slightly herbal, and genuinely soothing on the throat. You have been using thyme your whole life. You just changed how you used it. Before every small discomfort became a product with a label, people had a shelf, a garden patch, a bundle hanging to dry near the window. The plants were ordinary. The knowledge was ordinary. Nothing was hidden because it was rare. It was forgotten because we stopped paying attention. A jar of dried chamomile, a root of ginger wrapped in cloth in the refrigerator, a small sachet of lavender near the pillow, thyme honey darkening slowly in a jar on the counter. These are not complicated things. They are simply old things, still useful, still available, still waiting to be noticed again. Save this so you have all 10 in one place, and tell me in the comments which of these your family used. I would genuinely love to hear the old ways people grew up with.